people. Nice to see you. It's a Tuesday, and we had the market was up before the open. Then 10 o'clock came, and the numbers weren't good. Manufacturing down, and so the market it went down. It didn't like catastrophically go down as of now, but E-mini's down 10. The VIX back up. UVXY, which had been down $1, is now up like 25 cents. Sometimes when you are bored, you try to force things, you do stupid stuff. It happens. Remember when I told you that you can watch me do stuff and so that I can make the mistakes and you don't have to? Well, this might be kind of an example of that one. Yeah, so, I was had this long-term position and it was going my way this morning, and now it's going against a little bit. And I have this extra buying power to the downside. I sold this call spread, and so it took up all my buying power. But when you have buying power allocated to the upside, there's an equal amount of buying power allocated to the downside. So I wanted to use that downside buying power, and I kind of just pushed it. And I kind of think that's a stupid trade I made this morning, because it kind of goes against my principle of not giving up stuff for too cheap. So let's just go through it. I think it might fall into the category of, just boredom and anxiety and frustration with the position type trade. But what I did was I sold a very cheap, $1 cheap put spread against my position. It basically, if you look up in the corner here at these like P&L numbers and stuff, you can see that there's this number here. It says cash and sweep vehicle. Cash and sweep vehicle. I just moved it over for a second. Now I'll move it back to the number here. Cash and sweep vehicle, $9,349. So that's basically like if every option you're short went to zero right now, how much would your position be worth? And selling with my position before, I was short 20 call spreads that if the position went to its maximum value would be worth $8,000. And I realized if I sold these put spreads to the downside and UVXY stays between 26 and 18 through expiration, I could collect an extra $1,300, raising this cash sweep vehicle price to where it is now. And but the trade I made was kind of it's very dollar cheap. What I did was I sold this Nove 1816 vertical, so it's $2 wide. Sold it for 30 cents. So you're betting $1.70 to make 30 cents. Now, it doesn't seem very likely to me that this is going to go through 18 down to 16, but it would be really unfortunate if, we were correct. We've done this whole short vol thing, and we're correct, and UVXY does creep lower. Right now, it's 24 cents away from being at the maximum value, the upside call spread I have. Right now, UVXY is 26.24, and all we need is at or below 26 on expiration for us to collect that $8,000 from the upside. So what I did was, now that I sold this downside, we needed to stay in between, definitely in between 18 and 26. And if it does blow like down through 16, we're going to give up all the profits we made on the initial spread. And so it's a risk, and it's a risk for not that much. To bet $1.70 just to get 30 cents seems like kind of a dumb trade. So that's what I mean when I say I made a dumb trade out of boredom. So what we're going to do, I guess, is just kind of monitor the situation here. It's possible that, time kind of goes by, and if UVXY kind of stays up higher up here for like the next month, then it's conceivable that we could buy this, buy this back in, which would probably amount to, when you sell a cheapo put spread like that for only 30 cents, probably in the end it's going to be not taking off the put spread, not buying the 18 put and selling the 16 put. It's probably just going to be buying the 18 put in and leaving that long 16 put on, because the 16 put is going to end up being completely worthless, and the 18 put is going to be where any value is. And so we're going to be looking to buy that 18 put back for somewhere less than 30 cents. So that's kind of where we are right now. It was kind of maybe a silly trade, but and the other thing with that trade is that we can't just now we've got this big condor on, and so the buying power is taken up to the upside and the downside. So to get buying power back, we've got to cover both upside and downside. So that kind of makes us be in a less sort of flexible situation here. And, the VIX could spike to 30 or something like that. And if we want to cover our short call spread, we're going to have to buy in those puts as well. So we'll see what happens. I don't know if I would have done that trade if I wasn't bored and really frustrated. That's why I'm saying it's kind of a trade out of boredom. So there you go. Everybody does it. I did it right here. Welcome to reality of trading. And I was talking with somebody who was saying that like they have a YouTube channel about trading, and if they post a bad trade, all these people unsubscribe. Well, if that's the case for me, everybody's going to unsubscribe, because I certainly do bad trades sometimes. But the point for me is to give you a real situation, and let you know that when you do something that's maybe, when you make a mistake, you're not alone, because we all make mistakes trading. And when you lose money, you're not alone. We all lose money trading. And, together we can be honest about that, and we can kind of work through it. So many of these channels, and I'm not going to mention names, are just, once again, the boot camp. We're all really good looking, and we pump iron all day. We day trade for 15 minutes after the open, and we make 20 grand, and then we spend the rest of the day riding our jet skis around, and every once in a while we like teach a seminar where we get paid like tens and twenties of thousands of dollars for that, and we make all our money in 15 minutes on the open by scalping stocks. That is not reality at all. And if you think about it, if you are signed up with one of those things, and if you really think about it, that's not reality. You're being sold a bill of goods. But some people just want to buy that because they have these dreams of like, I'm going to be super rich without doing anything. Everybody has that dream. That's why people buy lottery tickets and all that stuff. It doesn't really work that way. It takes dedication. It takes honing your skills, and it takes patience, which is something that we all have to work on, even me, who's been trading for a very long time. So there you have it. As we look, let's do a quick check out here. UVXY going higher now as the E-minis continue to tank. Let's see if we can get some headlines from the numbers today, because maybe I didn't describe them as accurately as I may have. Let's go to CNBC and see how they describe what happened this morning with the numbers. Here we go. U.S. manufacturing survey shows worst reading in a decade. A gauge of U.S. manufacturing slumped to the lowest level in more than 10 years in September as exports dived amid the escalated trade war. So there you have it. Trade war not going so well for the country. Trump targets, quote-unquote, pathetic Federal Reserve after worst manufacturing reading in a decade. So President Trump again criticizes the Federal Reserve after a poor reading of the U.S. manufacturing activity. He said the central bank does not have a clue and called it pathetic. Trump has repeatedly blamed the Fed as concerns grow about a slowing U.S. economy. Let's see. In a tweet, the president wrote, Fed Chair Jerome Powell and the central bank have allowed the dollar to get so strong, especially relative to all other currencies, that our manufacturers are being negatively affected. He argued that Fed has set interest rates too high. They are their own worst enemies. They don't have a clue. According to this tweet, the president had predicted this was going to happen. All right, so there you go.